If you have not read my last update, I have since left my hotel and took an Uber to my friend's house an hour away. As I got in the Uber, the driver had been waiting for me to come out, and I got in his car. I nearly shit myself as he turned on his car to find that the car, the one directly across from it in the parking lot, was a gray Volkswagen. I couldn't tell if it was the same one from the night before, because A, this one had a license plate, and B, I've never gotten a good look at it up close before, so it could just have been another person's car. As we were leaving, I looked up to the hotel, and in one of the rooms, there was clearly a figure looking out the window. I'm not jumping to any conclusions right now as to whether it was him. I'm not sure if it was the same room as mine. I'm honestly keep questioning myself at this point as to whether all this shit is real or just paranoia. Maybe the guy actually did find me, and I was just about to be slaughtered, maimed, or worse. Maybe this is just a classic case of Bader-Meinhof phenomena, and I'm just finding ways to freak myself out. One thing that is for sure is that this guy is definitely still haunting me. I got a text from Mr. Sullivan, Nick, or whatever the fuck he wants to call himself, and I'm still petrified after seeing it. At exactly 8:34 p.m. today, he sent me a video, and the only other thing he said in the text was, "I see you." I am positively sure this is my house. Now I want to know when this video was taken. It probably was not taken last night, as the police were watching my house. So that means he either took it the first 2 nights, or as recent as today. And I'm really hoping that it is the latter. If he took it today, that means he probably still thinks I'm staying there. Unfortunately though, this guy seems far from stupid. And if he has stalked me enough to know my garage code, he most certainly must have noticed I am no longer coming back there. Either way, he's trying to terrorize me, and he's probably trying to get me to flee my house for this perfect moment to strike. In some twisted way, I expected worse. I don't know what makes this psychopath tick. Maybe dead animals, maybe dead people, or just seeing his victims crumble under all the stress he's inflicted on them. What I am dreading is if he actually manages to find me at my friend's place. This guy we'll call Tom, not his real name, obviously, took up the mantle of protecting me. And if this guy manages to find me, I will never forgive myself for putting this on him. I offered to pay him money, but he refused. So for the past 2 hours, we have just been doing nothing but drinking beer and playing video games to calm my nerves. Tom is a bit of a hick, I would say. He loves dipping, sitting on front porch drinking beer, and he has a pretty large collection of guns. Probably the best friend to have in a situation like this. Just as you guys have been begging me to get a hold of. So all in all right now, I am feeling the most secure I have felt out of all the days since this has started. I have informed the police about my situation and the video, and they told me they have not seen a car parked near my house at all in the past day. I gave them the number, and they told me that they will do their best to try to triangulate his position. Now that it's getting late, my friend and I decided we needed to start securing the place in case of intruders. His house has security alarms. He lives in a relatively busy street, so no one can park near the house without parking in the driveway, and he has been staying off social media, as I have asked him to do for my safety. The anxiety hasn't stopped, but this is the first time I have had a friend by my side to help me with the situation, so I feel a little bit better. He gave me one of his pistols, and we started shooting in the range in his backyard, despite having not shot a gun before. We are currently on his porch, just talking as I write this down. I am very grateful for all your support for the past couple of days. Have a good night, everyone. Hopefully nothing notable will happen for once. Last night when I posted the 3rd update, many people in the comments had told me I needed to stop using Reddit, as it would only lead to find my location. So I didn't. I turned off my phone and put my phone on airplane mode for the past day. I decided my best course of action would be calm my nerves and finally get some shut-eye. I signed off of Reddit, jumped into my buddy's couch, and finally went to sleep. At approximately 3 in the morning, my friend woke me up telling me I needed to check something out. I immediately grabbed the revolver I had left on the table next to the couch, and we went to the front porch. In the distance, I could see a car parked all the way down the road. I'd say it was about 300 yards, and still visible of streetlight. See that car down there? I was dozing off, and the moment I snapped out of it, the thing just showed up out of nowhere. And it was just sitting there, Tom said. How long do you think it's been there for? I'm not sure. I saw it there and stared at it for a good 2 minutes. After that, I took my flashlight and started flashing it on and off. After that, the car shut off, and some guy got out and waved, and I walked into the woods. There was a wooded area near my buddy's house that if you walk through it, you can walk into a large open field in his backyard. There was a fence dividing the field from his backyard, but it can be easily hopped. Well, do you think we should check it out? I said. No. This guy could be going into the woods and coming back round towards my back door. You have to stay here. I'll go check it out. All right. If it's a gray Volkswagen, we need to leave immediately. I want you to record the license plate and look inside to look for anything notable. That means ropes, knives, duct tape, anything sketchy we need to get out of here, I stated. All right, wait inside and defend the house. Make sure no one gets inside. I went back inside and stared out of the window as Tom approached the vehicle with his 12 gauge. I went to the back of his house and stared out of his backyard window and saw some figures start walking across the field. This was particularly strange, as there were no houses visible in this field, and he just seemed like he was walking towards nowhere. He climbed over a hill, and he was no longer in the view from the window. I went back to the front window to look at the car, and Tom was checking it out. I felt relieved for the slightest moment, as I felt like maybe, just maybe, I was overreacting. Then his home phone rang. I looked at it and saw the caller ID. And it was my area code, not Tom's. At this point, I had my phone still on airplane mode, so I assumed it was someone from my neighborhood or family trying to contact me. I felt almost intrusive seeing that I was answering a phone call to a home that was not even mine. But now that was not a time to take chances, so I answered. I picked up the phone. Hello? Excuse me, who is this?
Oh, hello. Excuse me, sir. My apologies. Is this the owner of the household?
No, I am a friend of the owner. He is currently outside. Who is this? He was silent for a few more seconds. At this point, I just felt that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you realized you screwed up. I just revealed that I am here alone, and whoever is calling just realized that.
Who else is with you? Is it just you?
At this point, I am shaking. I could barely speak without stumbling my words. I decided the best things to do was to lie like no tomorrow. No, we are having a party, and there were a couple other people here.
Are you sure about that? I was just walking by and saw that there was only 2 cars in his driveway.
At this point, I completely lost my shit. Listen, just fucking tell me who you are and why you are calling this house so late. More silence. Hello? Can you please just tell me?
I apologize. I may have the wrong number. Tell whoever owns this house to call back. Thank you.
Then he hung up. Tom had come back and said the car was not a Volkswagen, and he had a license plate. He said the windows were tinted and the doors were locked, so there was really nothing he could make out. I told him about the caller, and he said he had no idea whose number that was. He called back. No answer. He called from a restricted number. No answer. An hour passed by as we were sitting on the porch and we heard an audible slam from his back door. We both looked at each other and he motioned to follow him around back. We saw nothing out of the ordinary. We looked around everywhere for footprints, but still nothing. When we had gone back to the front porch after countless minutes of searching, it was approximately 4 a.m. at that point. It wasn't until 10 minutes after we got back to the porch that we noticed the car 300 yards away was gone, and we haven't even noticed. I hadn't gotten any sleep since last night. I told him that I wanted to leave his house because I need to keep moving. And he said he wants to come too. He locked up all his doors, brought some guns, and we drove off at 6 in the morning. Police still haven't done jack shit despite all the valuable intelligence I gave them. And I've been on the road all day with my friend. I drove a lot, and he slept in the back. We were currently at McDonald's as I typed this. We were joking, saying if we do end up getting kidnapped, murdered, attacked, these no-sleep posts will make a hell of a based on a real story script. I'm just tired. Tired of being stalked, tired of being hunted down, and tired of making these goddamn posts. I just want this to be over. I'm sorry to inform you guys, but I think this is the last time we wrap up the show. My parents have returned home, and both the police and my neighbors haven't seen the man ever since I left. I've been on the road for the past few days, and I just wanted to stop running. My parents informed me that they got a hold of a revolver now, and all they want to do is just go home, sleep in my own bed, and be done with this madness. I'm starting to think that all of this has just been in my head. The guy hasn't made any notable appearances in my life since that night. And maybe that video he sent was just from the first 2 nights I saw him. I don't know. I guess that's been a problem ever since the start of this, is that I've just been overreacting to this whole phenomena. Maybe this guy is just some deranged burglar. Maybe he came to my house thinking I was somebody else. I don't know for sure. Tom and I have been on and off the road, only stopping to get food or to pee. A lot of comments have been telling me to either stop using Reddit or to stake it out and confront the man myself. I've come to realize that I've been making a poor choice documenting everything that has happened on Reddit. God only knows if this man has been using it to his advantage. But more importantly, I've been hiding and running away from him all this time. I thought it was finally time I confront him myself. Now, I'm not going to make an effort to contact him or find him. But if he decides he wants to come and attack my house, my family, and myself, then he will finally meet his maker. However, I thought a good start will be to pay the 7-Eleven guy a visit today, and we decided to confront him. I just needed to be sure that it wasn't him. We parked in front of the 7-Eleven at about 8 at night, about 3 hours ago. This is the conversation we had, to the best of my memory. "Is this the guy?" Tom said. "Yeah, this is him. Let's just go in and ask of him a few questions. We'll just need to scare him a little and see how he responds." Tom took his pistol from the back seat and put it in his holster. "Is this necessary? Look, man, we aren't even sure if this is the guy. We can't just pull a gun on him and make him shit himself. Just taking some precautions is all. And if this is the guy, we gotta be careful." And with that, Tom got out of his car and started walking in as I followed. As soon as we walked in, he asked, "Hello, how are we doing today?" We both gave him a stern look, so he responded, "Hey, come on, what's with the sour mood?" I looked at Tom, and he looked back at the cashier and asked, "Lovely day, isn't it?" I could see that the guy was getting visibly nervous and began to sweat a little. "Hey, man, I couldn't help but notice that gun in your holster. Pretty nice gun. That's an M1911 Colt, right? My dad has one of those." We didn't break eye contact. "Yeah, I would say it's a pretty nice day, isn't it? How's your day going? Well?" I went directly in front of the counter and got face to face with him. "Hey, can I ask you something?" I could see the cashier swallowing as he coughed. Yeah, sure, what is it? Do you drive here to work by any chance?" Negoratory, my friend, drops me off." I looked at Tom, and he looked back at the guy. "You best not be lying to us." The cashier broke. Look, guys, I don't want any trouble. If you're here to rob the place, that doesn't concern me. I'm just a guy who works here, right? Just take the money and go if that's what you want." I sighed. "We aren't here to rob anything. Just asking a couple questions, if that's all right with you." Cashier folded his arms and said, "Sure, ask whatever you need. What's up?" "When does your shift end?" I asked. "Oh, usually around 3 in the morning. Hey, what's all about this? Are you guys undercover cops or something?" Have you ever seen a gray Volkswagen in the past couple nights you've been working here? Actually, I did. The night before you came in, there was a guy who came in after you the other night. Oh, did he buy anything? Yeah, he bought some cigarettes and dipping tobacco. He didn't say much, but he said he had a long night ahead of him. I take it he gave you his ID? Tom jumped in. Yeah, he did. What was his name? Do you remember? I think it was Nathan Silverstein or something like that. Nick Sullivan? Yeah, shit, I'm pretty sure that was his name. What's it to you, by the way? I can tell Tom was getting suspicious. Can we see your ID for a second? He showed us his ID, and the guy seemed to be completely innocent. Alright, man, thank you for your time. The police might come later to ask you for your camera feed from that night, but I really appreciate your help. We left, and that was the end of it. Finally, after all these days of running, we finally got a decent lead on the guy. We called the police, and they were currently going over the tapes. This was an amazing feeling now that we finally got a good lead on this guy now. I can finally go home. Tom has been such a good friend the past couple days. He has stuck with me through thick and thin, even through these tough times, and I am eternally grateful for what he's done to me in this time of need. After a long day of traveling, he told me that his girlfriend has been awfully worried about him, and this made me feel even worse about the situation. Finally told him that we needed to part ways, and that I wanted him to go home, and rest, that I apologized for him putting in danger. He told me not to sweat it, and that it was a pretty exciting experience for him, despite it maybe putting her lives in jeopardy. I gave him some money to help him with his troubles. He's going to his girlfriend's house, he said, and he will be staying there for a while until his life is completely sorted out. No more running, no more fear, no more stalking. I am finally done with this, guys. I can't wait to go home, see my family, and be safe and sound in my home again. I wanted to thank all of you for your support with these past few days. It really means a lot. At some point, I got text from my parents saying it was safe to come home. When I called them, everything seemed normal. However, my mom sounded somewhat worried and flustered about the whole situation when my dad put her on the phone. I asked her what was wrong, and she had simply told me, "I'm just under a lot of stress," and followed it by, Just come home, please. We miss you." I feel really sorry for them. I don't know why, but I somewhat blame myself for all of this shit happening. If they hadn't seen the stalker at all, then this must have had to do with me and me alone. I must have done something to cause this man to torment my family. As we speak, Tom has just left back home, and I am finishing this last update at Starbucks. I'll call an Uber and finally be home. If the guy gets caught, I'll link you guys to a news article or something. But this is the final update. 12:12 a.m. Just came home, and there aren't any cars in my driveway. I'm a little worried. I'm calling my parents. 12:14 a.m. All right. No answer from my parents. Gonna try the garage now. 12:16 a.m. Well, my parents must have changed the garage code or something. I'm banging on the door and no one is fucking answering. 12:18. It's so cold. 12:21 a.m. All right, well, lights are turning on in my bedroom, so they're obviously home.